All right, Purplel3ss. Hopefully this is gonna work properly. I haven't recorded in a bit, so let's see. And work properly meaning like the audio levels are all matched and balanced, because I haven't really recorded gameplay in a bit that wasn't through the replay tool. So this is just, as you can see, the playing this on VLC. This is just the recorded gameplay that you sent me over Discord. Okay, so
will fall.
30 seconds until minions.
How long is this game? 30 minutes? Okay, that's fine. Alright, so you're gonna start top side. I like the mute all.
Armies of fury.
You're against the Graves. Okay, let me see. So Renekton into Riven, Shiv into Graves, Kassadin into Fizz, Jhin, Lux, MF. Okay. So this is an interesting going, like every single one of these lanes can go either way, which you don't always get in a game. So look at like top lane, two aggressive mechanical bully bruisers in the top lane. Two champs that ultimately in the jungle, like what you want to do is scale on both Graves and Shyvana. So it's gonna be probably less early game invades, less early game ganks, and more trying to secure farm and get vision. Because usually, for let's say you're gonna worry about getting invaded or being able to invade Graves, that's gonna play off how strong your laners are, since you're Shyvana, and Shyvana generally likes to farm more and build up her lead and not take early game fights. But in the mid lane, we have Kassadin, who's a very, very passive early game laner, into Fizz, who's a very, very passive early game laner until he gets level 3 or level 6. So this one can go either way. It's not like you have a big stomp lane or a push lane in here. And then the bot lane, I would assume that MF Nami has push priority, but where Jhin and Lux is such long range engage, they might be able to just kind of sit under turret and take it. So this is the only lane that I think might have a definitive, like these guys should win just based on champs. But it is an interesting game where every lane is pretty evenly matched in terms of the style of champion. It's not like a bruiser into a tank top lane, or like a Lee Sin into Shyvana jungle or anything like that. Alright, so they're cheesing you. Get to the plant. Alright, so that is unlucky. That sucks. Not much you can do about it. The only thing that would have made that better that you could have tried to do is either A, when Renekton went to lane, he should have went here instead of here, and that means that he would have had vision on this area and he might have spotted it out. And B is that if you just came to lane faster, you might have gotten here and before they were able to go all the way through, and that means that between Renekton and you would have had the vision that would have stopped that. But honestly, like, that's just, it happens. Absolutely nothing to do about that. However, what we can talk about is how to play off that, right? So yes, obviously go bot side now. You're assuming that if he's not taking your red, you're assuming that he's going to ward. So you're sending your bot lane down to lane to not get them behind. That's fine. You're gonna just probably farm out this bot side. So now what you have to do is say, what do you think Graves is going to do? Graves is probably going to take at least your red buff. If not, maybe Reds and Raptors, or have a ward there. So he's going to know if you're in this area. Yeah, he's going to top. Okay, so Graves used the pressure to gank Renekton. Again, nothing you can do about that. Renekton should have known. You went down here. He was there for the invade. He knew Graves was there. It happens. However, you need to go to the red now. Okay. This is one of the only times that I will ever advocate going buff to buff. And what I mean by that is, stupid VLC. Okay, so you know the bottom side of the map right here, right? Okay, perfect. So I would not be doing this right now. And the reason why is because Graves invaded, and then he stayed here. And you know he stayed here because he ganked top afterward. That means that he did not do any of this jungle, and he did not do any of this jungle. And in order for you to even out this balance between you and Graves. So like if this is a Graves bar and this is your bar, right? This is like the maximum. So you got some farm. You got your blue buff. He got a kill, and he ganked top lane, and he's gonna clear your side of the jungle. So he's like at 3 out of 5. He's like almost maxed out, as good as he can be doing right now. You need some points to kind of even that gap up. If you just farm your side of the jungle and let him walk back and then farm all his jungle, then he got everything he was expected to get. You're gonna get half of what you expect to get, and you'll probably get these 2 camps. And then he would have got away with killing you and killing top lane. That's way too much of an advantage to give Graves. So that means that you have to now balance this out. The way you balance this out is you say that I'm going to go here. And you say, you know Graves is top, you know he stayed top, and you know he ganked. So he literally just left vision. He's literally sitting right here right now. He does not have the time to walk all the way down here to defend his red buff. And I guarantee you that Fizz is not going to want to sacrifice his lane to do it either. The second you take blue, you need to sprint as fast as you can to his red buff, take it, and then leave. And that way, at the very least, you're not, and you want to put vision down along the way too. So you want to run in here. So you want to take blue, run this way, run down through here, drop a, come over here, drop a ward here, do red, and then yeet out the back, and either gank bottom or back, and then go back top side. And the reason why you want to do this is because you need to take something of his to even out this imbalance, right? So if you two were to be in a neutral state and just take you took all your camps and he took all his camps, that's even, right? But he took some of your camps, which means not only did he go up, but you went down because he took from what you were going to get. So in order for you to balance that back out, you have to take from him. So you go up and he goes back down. You know what I mean? So if you just sit and take mouse go. If you just sit and take your Gromp, you're not going to be taking anything away from Graves, and he's going to get a straight advantage. He already has 2 kills, and he took one of your camps. You need to take something from him, or else you're going to be way behind. So, yeah, so in the end of this, you're not going to end up getting that balance back up. So he's going to be ahead of you pretty early on, which that is just, it sucks as a Shyvana because, like I was saying earlier, it's like the Shyvanas, the Graves, the Master Yi, the Udyr. Now, Udyr might be an exception, but a lot of these champs aren't the best at fighting early game. So if the Graves gets the advantage on you, he has free reign to just invade your jungle whenever he wants, because he knows he can 1v1 you at any point in the game now until you start getting fed. Obviously, that depends on your lanes. Like, see how strong Renekton is right now. Graves wouldn't go invade your jungle with the strong Renekton pushed down the lane like that. See how he just got, literally as I was saying that, he got chunked out by Renekton, proving my exact point. However, if Renekton ever wasn't super pushed up and super dominant like that, Graves would have a free range of just walking your jungle whenever he wants and bully you off anything. So now you're jungling depending on your laners, not depending on your own ability, because Graves is far ahead. And that's how some games go. That's the reality of League. It's a team game. However, you want to minimize that as much as possible. As much of the game as you can put on yourself to make yourself in control as to what happens, you want to do. Yeah. I would ignore that. Just trade scuttles here. He's stronger than you, and you're going to lose a 2v2. So just take that scuttle. If Cassidy wants to fuck with him, that's Cassidy's prerogative. He can do that. But you want to take the scuttle and farm. I would go look. Yeah, be careful for a counter gank. Don't dive the Fizz, but in case Graves just comes back, Cassidy's pushed up. How much gold do you have? I might have backed here. Okay, so let's go back a second. You were right. Nope. Right after you take scuttle, basically right here. Okay, so look at the map. Let this reset. So you have 0 camp spot side. You don't want to go into Graves jungle because Graves was here and then he disappeared. You don't know if he went top, if he went bottom, or if he backed. So it's best to not test this when you have no support from your bot side to come help you out if Graves is there. So you don't want to go there. You have nothing here. You have nothing here. You don't want to go here. You looked to gank here, and Kassadin had just shoved Fizz under tower, so you don't want to dive the Fizz yet, because you don't know where the Graves is, and if Fizz has his E up. And you're not going to dive bottom, because bottom is at a completely neutral state, and there's no pressure at all. So, basically, your only play right now is to either get some vision, or go topside and get this. However, what I would do, to not waste time, I would probably back, buy your next jungle item, and then run out to topside, and then take this camp. That will take almost the exact same amount of time as if you just ran to the topside camp, and now you've already backed and spent gold, and you have better items. The reason why you want to back now and spend gold, see how Riven and Renekton are topside? This lane is gonna push back and forth, and if you get all the way up here, and then all of a sudden Riven is engaging Renekton, and you need to go help, you are at a much better spot if you go help with completely rejuvenated stats and more items. You want to have that back in between to make yourself better equipped to either counter gank the Graves or gank the Riven topside, because you know you're going to this camp, right? This camp is the only thing available right now, so you know you're going there. So you got to be thinking, like, what else would I be doing if I'm in that area? Well, potentially, I might have to go counter gank or gank Riven. So, since there's nothing else on this entire side of the map that you want, this entire area is like it's completely empty, because either you don't have vision and aren't confident, or it's actually empty. You might as well back and then go, because you're not going to waste any extra time, and you're just going to get another item for free. The only time you wouldn't want to back now is if you had to run through... Oh, I skipped ahead. Is if you had to run through and still get camps along the way. Yeah, so you're going to go top. So this is exactly where we were. You would also get your potions back, which might not seem like a big deal, but early game fights usually aren't decided by much HP. So if you can press your potion, have it tick throughout the whole fight, that might be the difference between you living and you dying, or you getting away. Alright, so why are we not looking at the Riven Renekton right now? Okay, that was lucky. And I'll give you another tip. When you're farming as a jungler, whenever you see your laners fighting under turret, at the very bare minimum, like you're right here, they're fighting right here. At the very bare minimum, you have to pan your camera over and look at what's happening. Renekton won, but you had no idea he was winning. He won with about 50 HP left. I think Riven had ignited him, and he was dashing away from under turret. That means that Riven dove him. That means that Riven was initially way up in this fight, and she probably took tower shots and miscalculated, and Renekton played it well. But you had no idea, because you didn't even pan over. And then you finally panned over as the fight was ending, and noticed that Renekton barely won. This camp is not going anywhere. It's always going to be in this spot right here. So it's always, always, always better for you to leave, go help your laner, make sure they get the kill, and then come back and finish the camp. 100% of the time. The only time you don't do that is if you pan over like immediately, like the second the fight starts, you unlock your camera and look at this section, and you say, oh yeah, this is an easy win for Renekton, I don't need to go. Then you can say, I'm going to stay here and farm because he should win it. But you didn't know that this time because you didn't even look. So you got lucky, the Renekton won. But if Riven had won, and you were just sitting here farming your camp, literally 1 second away, that Renekton would be tilted out of his mind right now. And not only would he be pissed because you let him down, but he'd be super, super tilted. And something that gets really, really underrated in solo queue is trying to keep your teammates not tilted. The reality of the situation is that whatever elo you're in, every single person is the same skill level. There are going to be games when people troll and people int, and you're like, how the hell is this kid at my elo? Like, he's just not good. Sometimes people have bad games, but sometimes people are just tilted. So that instance right there, let's say the tables were turned. Let's say that instead of Renekton winning by 50 HP, Renekton died to an Ignite Riven tower dive and Riven only got away with her fucking shield, and his Shyvana jungle was at full health 1 second away in the jungle doing nothing. That would have tilted him off the face of the earth, and your entire top lane would have been lost right there. So that's a very underrated aspect about solo queue, is trying to, especially as a jungler, because you're going to be going around from each lane, right? Is trying to keep your laners from tilting. Now, it's not to say you should be the babysitter, but keeping your laners from tilting is a very, very, very important part of solo queue. And if you can try and keep that in mind as you play, and maybe use that mentality to help decide like which lanes you're going to gank, or if you're going to gank then farm versus farm then gank, it literally might end up getting you those 1, 2, 3 extra like gank wins during a game that you wouldn't have gotten, that can flip the entire game just because of the mentality of your laner is better now. Okay, now we're power farming. Notice that we still haven't backed yet, so I'm assuming we're going to back after Raptors, because you're low health, you can't impact the map at all right now. Okay, good. You never want to go too long, especially early game, without backing, because you're just not going to be as impactful. You're going to be low health, you're going to be low items, and you're going to be underpowered compared to the lanes you're trying to gank. You checked the scorecard and it said Graves also didn't have any items, but that's not necessarily true, because this is just seeing the last time you had vision on Graves, he had these items. It does not mean that he currently has these. Graves could have backed in the meantime, bought, and got back on the map. You just haven't had vision on him yet to update the scoreboard. So you always want to be you never want to be staying out on the map for too long, because if you're too weak to impact anything, it doesn't matter if you have a 10, 12, 15 CS lead on Graves. If you can't team fight because you're afraid you're going to get one shot because you're behind on items, because you have 1,000, 2,000 gold in your inventory, that's not really helping much. Okay, this is fine. You want to watch Dragon. So obviously on Shyvana, one of your advantages is that you're very good at soloing the dragons, and dragons are really, really powerful now. Yeah, so see how he just got it? So again, that's the first thing that I was saying. Not first thing, but like I was just brought that up because that's what was on my mind, is that I should be going to dragon getting vision. You have the sweeper and you have the control wards, which is smart. That's like what you want to get. You got the right items, but you didn't use them. Your priority should be on that dragon. Again, the stupid things in the way, but the dragon here, obviously, you know Fizz is in mid lane and Kassadin's backed, which tells you that Graves is not going to feel pressured. He's not going to feel afraid, rather, of going and trying to get the dragon, because there's no one in mid lane to come get him. He probably I would not be surprised if he has a ward in your jungle, so he probably knew that you weren't in this area. So with that information saying he knows you're not here, he knows mid lane's not here, and he knows bot lane's at a stalemate, so like at the very least his bot lane is holding yours back. This is completely perfect. Like this whole area in here is all safe zone for him. So he's gonna go get dragon, especially if he's playing a Shyvana and he knows that Shyvana's gonna try and get dragon early. His new goal is to get dragon before you. So the way you could have maybe affected that was that instead of staying, like I was saying before, instead of staying out on the map for so long, and instead of backing and getting your items and resetting, you could have backed a camp or two sooner, then ran right bot lane, reset, and got vision ready for dragon, then try to either gank mid or bot to get pressure in bot lane or mid lane, which would allow you to safely get the dragon. That would have been a different way to play it, instead of just farming until you had no camps left, backing, and then having Graves take the dragon. Because he soloed it too, which means that if you were there, you probably could have killed him and stole it. So that's just really unlucky, because Graves is not great at soloing dragon early on. Like, he can do it, but he takes a lot of damage. But you saw his bot lane here, you saw his mid lane here, so you know that he just soloed that dragon. It also means he might have used smite to get health back while fighting it, so you could have just walked up, smited it, and ran away, which is unlucky. Okay, good. Get Scuttle. Renekton's gonna bully off Riven. If they start fighting, you leave Scuttle. Yep. Get Scuttle afterwards, it's more important. Kill that Riven. Nice. Fight that Graves. You don't have vision on Fizz anymore. Be careful. Now just secure Scuttle. You might want to drop a ward on the other side of the wall just to be sure he's not coming back, but this should be okay. Oh, you were really close. I was just gonna say you never want to. Okay, so what I was gonna say, I started to talk and then I saw Fizz jump out. I thought it was Graves. So what I was gonna say is that Scuttle whenever it gets to the end here, you know it's gonna bounce back. If you have smite up, and I was watching your smite, it wasn't up for a while, but Scuttle was still walking this way when it did come up. I think it was like right around here or something. You never want to let Scuttle jump back towards a bush, because the bush blocks all of your vision behind it. So see how the shadow, it mimics this line right here. You cannot see anything behind this line, right? All of this is unknown territory to you. However, what you do know, again, imagine Fizz isn't here. Imagine I paused the video a second sooner. Fizz, like I was saying, you lost vision on Fizz. Your Kassadin was mid lane. You and Renekton are both here, and Fizz was missing, which means Fizz had rotated from mid up to stop you guys. And then when you came back, Renekton went this way, you went this way, you still don't have vision on Fizz. So Fizz never went back to lane, which means Fizz is still in the jungle right here somewhere. So that's thing number one I was gonna say, is that you're still missing Fizz, so you don't want to let this Scuttle jump away from you because someone's gonna try and snag it. Two is that who are you chasing? You were chasing the Graves, and then you guys both left. So Graves obviously just doubled back and went right back around because he's gonna try and challenge you. So if Graves is sitting right here, which I think he ends up being like here or something, but if he was sitting here, or even worse yet, if he was in the bush, he's just gonna smite this and steal it from you. So you never want to let this jump back behind you towards the bush and towards this area where you don't have vision. Like, that's just like a truth on its own. Then on top of that, especially if you know Graves is somewhere over here and you know Fizz is somewhere over here, like, that's just asking for this to get stolen, and it almost does get stolen. You see, Fizz was gonna steal it and it forced you to smite to secure it, and that also forced you to flash away. If you had just smited it, right, where we go? Okay, I'm gonna replay from here so you see what I'm saying. So you chase him down. He's going away. This is fine. It's fine to stop here. But you don't see Fizz, and then you don't see Graves. So you know Graves is around here, and you don't know where Fizz is. Looks like Fizz is in the back of lane, but he's about to go back into Fog of War. So now, you literally actually, on the mini-map, Fizz's icon went this way. It went up out of lane, and then it's appeared. So right now, you know Fizz is literally right here. Like, this is Fizz. And you know, so Fizz is here, and Graves is here. And that's what you just saw on your mini-map. So, here. You smite it here. And the reason why, you know it's getting to the end of the road for Scuttle. It's about to double back and jump away. Your smite just came back up, and it's got 300 health, which is really low, which means that if Fizz QW, and if you don't know Fizz, you can press W and it will activate automatically on your next auto or your next Q. So it'll all be one hit, or it'll be a burst of damage. So if he presses like WQ, it'll just do like 400 damage like when he touches you. So he's gonna WQ this to steal it, or Graves is gonna come up here and smite it to steal it. You should be thinking about that right now, because you know both of them are not only missing, but they were in this area. So you don't smite it, you let it go over there, and Fizz, that's his QW. So the W is the discolored trident, and the Q is the dash. So that's literally what I just said was going to happen. And you had to smite it. Your reflexes were good enough to smite it, but why risk this? Just smite it here, and then walk away. The other benefit, which is what I was getting to, is that if you smite it here, let's rewind like a second. That's too much. Watch this. If you smite it here and you walk away, you're safe. Fizz, who's sitting in this bush waiting, never gets a chance to throw his ult at you, which forces your flash. So not only do you almost lose Scuttle because you were just being risky, you did lose your flash because you stayed too long. You could have just smited this and walked away. Like, you'd be right here right now, and Fizz would be nowhere near you. Now, your reflexes were good enough to smite it, and your reflexes were good enough to flash his ult, which is good. You stayed alive, but you didn't need to be in that situation at all. So a lot of this too is you might not be making big glaring errors. Like, if I just talked about, if you just inted into a team fight, or if you picked a bad fight, like, that's stuff that you can figure out on your own. Like, you don't need me to tell you that. Like, you probably know if you're watching this gameplay back yourself, or if you're like just literally in the moment, like after it happens, you probably know enough to be like, that wasn't smart, was it? Like, you can do that yourself. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to point out all the little things you don't notice. So that's why I don't want this to seem like I'm nagging on you or I'm picking apart like really, really small bits. Like, that's what I'm here for, is to pick apart all these small bits that you might not even think about or you might not notice when watching it back. Because to you, that might have been like, oh shit, I stole that with Smite and then I flashed his ult. That was a great play. But I'm here to tell you that you could have played the game better to not have to waste ult. I mean, not have to waste flash on his ult. And to not have to risk the Smite fight. Now that Graves is really bad. Yeah, you even question marked it. I don't know what he was doing there. But as I was just saying, part of the game is for me to point out the mistakes you make. You have to also point out the mistakes your opponents make. Like that. The Graves just straight up inted to you there. It's a free kill. And that's good. You capitalized on it. You took it. And now it's going to help you out a lot in terms of pressure. You're back. You're doing your clear. I'm assuming you're going to either back or look for a gank after this. You got a decent amount of gold now. Riven just left your vision, so you probably just want to back after this. Where are you going? Oh, you're going to do Rift Herald. Just warding. Okay. I probably... I might not have warded that, and I might have backed sooner, only because you already have the Scuttle Vision on Rift Herald. However, that's not a bad ward, because you see that, so your Scuttle Vision went away, but Renekton has this warded, but to be fair, Graves could come up here and go either way of these, so that's not a bad ward. Okay, you're gonna go collect bid, that's fine. You also want to be just checking your scoreboard every once in a while. Hit tab to see what the dragon timer is. It's not coming up soon yet, but a big part about dragons in this game now is you have to prep for them early. So like, if you're just going to the dragon pit as it's about to spawn, that's bad. You want to already have a plan in place in terms of, and by plan, I mean you want to have pressure in your side lanes, and that means you have to gank the side lanes to give them pressure, and you want to have vision around the dragon pit, not just on the pit, but like the area around it, so you can scout out if your enemies are in that area. And you want to prep all that like a minute and a half to 2 minutes before the dragon spawns. That way, when it spawns, you have the vision, you have the pressure, and it's a free dragon for you. That was a very good TP gank by Renekton and a good follow-up by you. Now you're doubling back to dragon. You're getting Scuttle. This is good. Your reward. This is good. This is all very good. Right after this, what I would do, you're gonna get this Scuttle. I'd put your control ward down here to secure some more vision around dragon. And then, yep, okay, perfect. Now, if Renekton stays, you can do this. If not, you might not want to do it. It depends if Jhin rotates. So you can definitely do the dragon. What you have to worry about though is where Graves is. You don't know where Graves is, you don't know where Fizz is, and you don't know where their bot lane is. Okay, now you see Fizz mid, so that helps out a little bit. Alright, perfect. Now let's go back to farming. Nice, okay, perfect. And then they took the Rift, but you traded Rift for Dragon. It is what it is. Like, that's one of those things that Rift gives you a buff immediately in terms of taking turrets and potentially taking gold plates, but Dragon gives you a buff later in the game if you can get Soul. So in the short term, trading Rift for Dragon benefits the team that took Rift, because you actually get something out of it, where Dragon you might get nothing. But Dragon can be a long-term investment, so like trading them's fine. But because you traded them and because you lost Rift Herald, you have to make it more of a point now to make sure you keep getting dragons and you keep that pressure up and you keep prepping for dragon a minute and a half before the dragon spawns every time, so you can secure them and not waste that trade you just made. This Renekton is ballsy. Okay, so he dies to the Fizz, gives Fizz the shutdown, but kills the Riven. So now you have to clean this up. What are you gonna do? Your Jhin is also really ballsy. Yeah, cut off the Nami. Make sure she can't flank. This is gonna reset. I wouldn't stay mid anymore. They're not threatening your laners anymore. If they choose to push, they choose to push. It's up to them. Yeah, you want to back off this. They have a 5v4 here, or a 4v3. I mean, they're a man up. So I'm trying to say, you do not want to fight this. Yeah, good. Go back to farming. That's good. So you don't want to stay in those mid 5v5s, those mid ARAMs, because you're wasting your time when you could be farming. So I'm glad you left to go farm, because your laners weren't going to get anything out of that. Your Lux and your Jhin. And honestly, if they die, that's their fault. They're fucking idiots. They should not have stayed there. They had no pressure on the tower. They were just standing mid doing nothing, staring at the other team. Jhin just walked into 4 people like an idiot. If they're going to be that stupid, they honestly deserve to die. That's like not... Ooh, that was close to getting Riven. Oh no. She summoned her kill. I thought I was going to say you got her. That was really close to getting Riven. So for you clearing the wave here, that's smart. But I wouldn't do anything more than clear the wave, because if your team dies... Oh, nice job. Nice job. Try to get the rift if you can, just to get something out of this. Just like kill it while you go down. Oh, you stay alive? Oh, well played. Let the Lux get a Jhin. Don't kill yourself. That's fine. It's better that... Honestly, I think it's better that he gets away as opposed to killing the Jhin. Because if Jhin stepped another inch forward, he would have got QW'd and died. That was very well played by you. Honestly, and I want to go back to what I was saying before about it's good that you left. Because if you were to stay with your Jhin and your Lux, you would have had 0 pressure. The wave would not have moved. You would have stood there in the middle trying to dance around the enemy team's kill shots while you both teams hit the wave at the same rate and nothing happens. And then you're getting less gold and less XP because the little minions you're actually getting are shared between everyone sitting there. It's better if you just leave and go farm. You're going to get more gold, more XP, and waste less time. And your team was just dumb for staying. Your Lux and your Jhin. That was 100% their fault 100% of the time. They had no reason to be there. I don't know what they were thinking. Okay. Leave. This is unlucky. Yeah, that's unlucky. Okay, so we're gonna say, was there a way we could have seen that coming, maybe? Okay, so we see Graves. You ping it, so you know Graves is there. And then you see Riven, Nami. Let's see if you watch this minimap. Okay, you see Graves and Nami go this way. Okay, so we did know. And they hit the blast cone. Okay, so we got some hints here. So you pinged Graves. You saw Riven, Nami this way. And then you were panning over them, which is good. You were doing the right thing. You were walking up here. You had already clicked it. Your character was just moving. But your camera was over here, which is exactly right. What you saw when your camera was over here was you saw the Graves and the Nami go this way. So you know that Graves and Nami are entering your jungle. And you can still see the particles over here. Graves and Nami just hit the blue vision cone. Whatever. This, the one that goes like that, right? They hit it here, and it went like this. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing all these particles here. All this stuff. That's the blue vision cone they just hit. Not only do you know that Graves and Nami are walking in your jungle. Oh, what the hell? You know that they just... The right spot? You know that they just hit the vision cone, and they're going this way. So there's a potential that they're over here. So what you want to do is ward. I would probably... What I would do... You're doing this camp. Stand here, and then put a ward in this bush. And that's going to give you a good idea of, did they come around this way? And if they didn't, you can probably use a ranged ability to hit red buff and then kite it out to this spot and kill it here. And that way you kill it safely because you know they're in your jungle, right? Is this the right spot? Hold on, this is the wrong time, wrong part of the video. What happened? Okay, this is better. Okay, I went way too far back by accident. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Okay, perfect. So go here. You get that. You leave. You go up here. You see them. This is what I was talking about. Okay, so you see these three here. You're panning over. Graves and Nami go this way. You just saw Graves and Nami both go this way. Now the blue blast cone's gonna go. There's a blue blast cone. So you know that Graves and Nami went in and they hit the blast cone and they saw you, right? Because you were on top of it. So you know they have all this information. What you need to do immediately is stand here and put a ward right here. Immediately. That's gonna tell you, did they come in and did they go up here or not? Because if they did, you avoid it. If they didn't, you have a ward here. And that means that the only possible other place they could have gone is either left or gone through this path right here. And that means they'd be waiting for you right here. So that's what that ward tells you. That ward right there would have saved your life. It's unlucky, but you did know they were there. So that it's unlucky, but we could have avoided that. It looks like your team gets the kills anyway. Yeah, one of them. Okay, so your team ends up positive, which is good. However, Riven got a lot of free farm. Riven's gonna get some damage on the turret, which didn't need to happen. Obviously, you could be farming right now, which you're not. So, prefer to not die, but it ended up being okay. Your team got a lot out of that. Excuse me. Alright, what are we...
The dragon nears.
Gotta hit him once, he should die. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we pick that up. What we do now... Dragon's coming up. How I push this, then go to dragon. Yep, we're at dragon. That's good. If you don't have smite, make sure you ping that to your team. Always ping your team you don't have smite, because it just means that they might save their abilities to burst the dragon at the end to try and get a big chunk of damage on it. And or if Graves jumps the wall and smites it, you don't get a lot of missing pings from your teammates saying, what are you doing? Because like you told them that you didn't have it and they still want to take dragon. Just try and get in the habit of doing that. But it's more for if they're smart, that means that they'll notice you don't have smite and they'll save their biggest damage ability for when the dragon gets low so they can burst it. That way it mitigates the chance of Graves jumping the wall and smite stealing. Or anyone really, it doesn't have to be Graves, it just has to be like an ability to smite steal. Because if you don't have smite, anyone can take the dragon. We're sprinting to Baron, that's good. So Kassadin's split pushing. Jin's getting caught out trying to farm the jungle. So you guys basically just lost Baron right there. Your two strongest damage dealers both died. One of them also being your front line with Renekton. Kassadin splitting bot, which in hindsight is fine because since Jin and Renekton both got caught out, you can't pressure the Baron anyway. So at least Kassadin's getting something for it. But Kassadin didn't know that. He was already bot. So unless he has TP, and obviously I can't check. I'm watching the VOD. If he has TP, fair enough. But if he doesn't have TP, then that's a big mistake by him. I was saying Baron, obviously I meant Rift Herald. Sometimes I forget there's still two of them. Alright, so they got second Rift. Alright, so Kassadin does have TP, but it's on cooldown. So he would not have been able to come if he needed to. I guess if it's only Rift Herald, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. I thought it was Baron, that's why I was saying it like I did. But I should have looked at the time and noticed that Baron doesn't spawn yet. It's only 19 minutes. Yep, so we're just farming this out. Oh, that's the volume. Okay. Okay, this is fine. Do we know when dragon's coming up? Alright, stay here. Better block this rift. You can get some poke damage on it and then sneak behind and get the eye. Oh, they're all here. Yep, no, you can just leave. I would just leave. If you can kill the wave, but if not, just leave because you're not going to be able to kill it and you don't want to die to them invading. Or diving to her, rather. Why'd they all leave if Fizz was there? What are they doing? Okay, this worked out. I'm glad it worked out. Never in a million years should that have worked out. They have a Fizz right here, and they have 3 other people right here. And I don't know, they could have very easily killed either one of these 2. I think you would have been fine, but I don't know what the other team was doing there. We'll take what we can get, right? If they're not gonna die, they're not gonna die. That's good for us. And you stopped the Rift Herald, so that was good. But that was very weird. Do you see Graves and Fizz mid going top side, and you choose to go back? Yeah, that's fair. Because that means he probably just took his bot side jungle. Can't get caught anymore. Just go farm. I would farm this, then I'd answer mid, and that'd be your rotation up to the top side. Oh, misclick. Answer mid and just keep a hover on top. You're not gonna be able to help; they're too far away. But hopefully it doesn't die. Keep this push so you can get pressure for Baron and Dragon. You don't want to rotate on Baron after this. Whenever you probably know this, but whenever Renekton dies, because Renekton's your most fed champion right now, he's doing the most damage. He acts as your front line, your tank, your CC. He's basically your ticket to team fight wins right now. So whenever Renekton dies, the other team knows it's their chance to move on an objective, whether that's Dragon or Baron or pushing a tower. Renekton is the big one that, like, once he's off the map, they're gonna go try and get something. So Kassadin's pushing top, so you can guess they're not on Baron because he has the vision and the pressure there. Your bot lane's looking at the Dragon pit trying to fight. That's fine. Just, it's a tip. Whenever he dies, you gotta make sure that if you don't have pressure or vision on, like, the Baron, for example, you want to make sure you can check it. All right, so they're contesting Dragon. You have smite. You don't. Graves is mid. He just came down the river, so you know Graves is here. We can burst this. It's good. Now, that's fine. I think that's worth a dragon for him dying. You want to... Alright, your Jhin half inted and slash half got baited by you there, but that's not your fault necessarily. You're gonna lose a lot here. Casper's gonna get nothing. You're gonna die. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so the only thing that I probably would have said about this whole play, go back to the Jhin thing. Jin's pretty strong. A little too early. Okay, so Jin's pretty strong right now. Like, he's doing pretty well. So you see that the Nami goes over with the Graves to chase your Lux. Right? Graves was over there? No, Graves won't fight Jhin, sorry. Nami goes over with Riven to chase your Lux. So your Jhin is in a 1v1 with Graves. You need to go this way. You running away is what kills Jhin here. And that's what I was saying before, where it's like, yes, Jhin engaged, but like you baited him a little bit because he engaged assuming you'd come with him. It's just the Graves right here. So you can see on the mini map, right? Let's erase the scrap. This is you. This is Jhin. Graves is on top of Jhin. And then over here is Riven, Nami, Lux, and then a Fizz trailing behind who's going to come this way. Line down the middle. Lux, Nami, Riven, Graves, Jhin. You need to go 2-shot that Graves, especially because with your ults, with AP Shyvana, if you hit a skill shot on Graves combined with a Jhin auto Q, I mean, he just dies. Like, you pop him right there. So you 100% of the time should always be going this way to go fight this Graves. You two will kill the Graves, and then you both get out, not just you. So not only are you killing the Graves, but you're saving the Jhin, and you're also, now that you're both still alive and Graves is dead, that might be enough pressure for you both to actually turn this way and try and fight the Riven Nami with your Lux, because now it's a 3v2. So this one little decision by you to run away and leave the Jhin actually has huge effects on this fight, because you could have saved Jhin, you could have killed Graves, and you could have potentially pressured this fight over here, because in this scenario, you and Jhin are both alive. You and Jhin, absolutely no doubt, easily kill Graves here if you stay, which that's why my first comment was you kind of baited him a little bit. Obviously not intentionally, but you should have just killed him right here. Honestly, even if MF's here, what I would do is I would go back here, fight. If they all rotate, now you leave. And if Jhin stays, now he's the dummy, and now he deserves to die. But while it was just Graves, even Graves MF, you and Jhin win this fight here. Once the Riven, once the Nami, once the MF, once they all rotate to help that Graves out, now obviously it's not a 2v1 or a 2v2, it's a 4v2. You don't win this anymore, and now you leave. And if you leave and the Jhin tries to stay here and pull Fancy Feet and be double lift or faker, and if he dies there, he deserves to die. It's his fault. But initially, yeah, here. So you leave. Jhin does stay. They do rotate, and Jhin dies because he's a dummy dum-dum. So now you're fine. You're backing. You got to answer Viz. Your Cassidon's going to get answered by Riven, who just backed. Good, clearing the wave and not the Fizz. That's smart of you. Now you got to back. There's 4 of them here. You don't, yeah, I don't know. Just you got to back here. Okay, so that was your mistake. So you were free. You were free. You were smart to kill the wave instead of Fizz. That's very smart. But then you back off here. See how you clicked here? Just keep walking. There's no reason to come back after that. You're going to click back in and cancel that. Watch. Do that. You'll see something. Okay. You're going to click out. You're free and you're safe. And then you click back in and you kill yourself. You don't kill your Fizz. The Fizz here. Fizz has E. So, like, even if you get damage on him, you're not going to be able to one-burst him. He has his E still up. He can dodge whatever he wants. That was just dumb. You went into a Fizz that you can't fight, and you inted into the other 3 people that were right there. You did the good thing by hitting the wave and getting as much of the wave gone as possible, but then you just got to go back and wait. They probably are on Baron now because they killed the jungler. So that's the advantage of you not going in and inting to the Fizz there. Again, your teammate should have gone back, and you were smart to initially kill the wave. But now they're either going to get Dragon or Baron. I don't see the Dragon timer, so I don't know what the Dragon timer is. But they should have gone to Dragon or Baron. And it looks like the other team didn't, which means they're really dumb. But they should have done it, and that would have been a free one. And the mistake to learn here is that kill the wave, but then don't keep forcing it. Like, once you did what you can do, just back off. Because especially as the jungler, late game, it's always better that you stay alive because of things like Dragon and Baron and objectives that you kind of need you to defend or to get. If you weren't playing AP Shyvana, I might have taken that from him after that. But AP Shyvana, it's not going to do too much anyway. That's good. That's a good ward. That's fine that they're clearing it. You're forcing them to come. Now you know that they're in the area still. Because who was that? That was the Nami MF. So you know that their whole team's here because Nami and MF wouldn't randomly just be up here. They're all gonna force mid now. They're gonna try and push mid, get their supers to push, and then rotate back to Baron. Hopefully Renekton has DP. What are they doing? Yeah, I would keep poking here. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why Graves is mid. So they backed to answer Renekton. But only one of them needed to go. Like, why was Graves backing? This is good. Clear the wave, and then go get Vision north towards Baron. Now, Vision. You have one ward, and you have a sweeper. You should be using the sweeper. Good. Get all these wards gone. This is the very, very, very important. That's what I was saying before about how Baron's a little different, but I was saying about Dragon, how you want to set it up like a minute and a half in advance. This is what you want to do before every single Dragon. Is you want to go down, gank one of the lanes, or shove the lane to get pressure, then go and sort out all the vision and get rid of all the enemy vision and get your own vision, and then go take it. So that was good. Just get out of here if you can. Blast cone, blast cone, blast cone. Always use the blast cone. Hold on. Always use the blast cone because even if you don't need it, it stops them from being able to use it. So what if Graves E'd over the wall? He E's over the wall, steps here, blast cones here, and now he can W you and slow you, and then get in for a QR and you're dead, right? Like that could have happened. He didn't. I don't know why, but that could have happened. So always use the blast cone, even if you don't need it, to deny the other team from using it to catch up to you.
Has been slain.
Yeah, see how Riven, they used it? Oh my god. So what I literally just said was going to happen is what happened. Graves jumped the wall with Riven, Graves used the blast cone, and Graves got an auto off. If Graves did it literally 1 second sooner, you would have just died there. Always hit the blast cone. That's your tip. You're not going to forget that anymore. I'm honestly okay with BMing in all chat, especially where you already muted everybody, so you can't see the comebacks. So the only thing that your BM is going to possibly do is tilt the Graves. And honestly, that's an advantage. If you can tilt the Graves, that makes your game easier, right? So you already muted all, so you're not even going to see his response. So that's acceptable BM for my opinion. If you didn't mute all and you started fighting with him back and forth, and now you're focused on chatting instead of the game, that would be obviously very detrimental, and you don't want to do that. But mute all BMing is perfectly fine. This is risky because Fizz is pretty strong right now. You can go in with Lux and Jhin, that's okay. But if they're not going to follow you, just leave. This is good for Dragon. You know Fizz is in the area. You have no vision on anyone else. You have to assume they're in the area. I would just force this down. You just might. Okay, good. Get out of here. If you don't have vision on anyone, assume they're there. I would have also pulled that Dragon out. So I'll just show you. When you're fighting here, again, you're fighting a Graves. So Graves has an E. He can E over this, smite it, and then flash back out. So whenever you are against a jungler that has mobility that lets them go over walls, you either A, need to have vision here and here, so you can see if they're trying to sneak the wall and steal the dragon, or B, you need to pull the dragon out. So start fighting the dragon, and then have everyone on your team back out, and the dragon will follow you out the pit and sit around here, and then you go back to attacking it once it gets out here. What this does is it pulls the dragon away from the pit. So even if Graves jumps over, now he can't just steal it. He has to walk all the way up here, and your team has time to go CC him and kill him, and then keep doing the dragon to deny him the steal. So you always want to either get vision or pull it out, or both, whenever you're facing like any jungler with mobility for overwalls. Graves, Lee Sin, even Master Yi if with his Q. If they're like your teammate is in the pit doing it, he can Q to your teammate and then smite it. Just like any jungler don't want to risk it. Your Kassadin is dumb. I would ignore this. So this, the chat before was fine. This chat I would ignore. Don't do this. If your Kassadin was doing something repetitive, like let's say that was like the literally third time in a row in the last 6 minutes he died invading the enemy jungle, then yeah, say please stop invading, please stop pushing, please stop going without vision. Fair. But he made one stupid play once, he knows it was stupid, right? Like he doesn't think he did the right thing. Like he went in, he probably went on autopilot, tunnel vision, tried to get a pick and chase someone and died. The second he dies, he knows it was stupid, he knows it was dumb. You don't need to say that on top of it, because all you're going to do is piss him off and tilt him. He doesn't need this. He already knows. If he was doing that over and over and over again, and in like a 6-7 minute span he did it 3 or 4 times, then yeah, remind him to stop forcing plays and to stop going on autopilot and going to the jungle without vision. But that's different. It goes back to what I said earlier, is while you want to do things that keep your teammates from tilting, you also want to not tilt them yourself by like chat stuff. That was a big chunk. I don't know if you hit, but you just nailed someone. This, no. Okay, this is probably where the game ends. Yeah, looks like the game ends here. Okay, so, I mean, overall, I think the game wasn't that bad. Like, you didn't do that bad. But I would definitely try to take the things that I said about the nuances and like the plays and like the different decisions you could have made. You don't have to agree with all of them, but I just hope that they allow you to think about things differently, and maybe some of the stuff that I told you will stay in your head and you won't do that the next time. Even if in this game it still worked out for you, like some of the examples early on, and like the blast cone example, you still got to base, but it was literally as close as you could possibly be to you dying. So hopefully some of that stuff stays in your head. Hopefully this helps, and let me know if you have any questions, dude.